If you're wondering why I haven't dropped my video explaining the story of Kendrick's new album yet, it's because that story is still unfolding. He's not done telling it through his performances and videos.
And this is the big step.
Over the past couple of weeks, Kendrick has literally been a worldwide stepper, traveling to Ghana, Paris, and then finally the UK, where he headlined the Glastonbury Music Festival and then made headlines for a controversial yet powerful performance that left everyone scratching their heads. I mean, it doesn't make sense. He's telling us he's not our savior, but then comparing himself to Christ? That shit is blasphemous.
Most people completely
Thank you, Omar.
underestimate the incredible importance of the present moment.
It sounds like the most personal body of work.
Yeah, this is my most present.
Hey, I still give a fuck your OG sleeping. I can bring them music real out of your residence. I'm trying to fill my pocket full of these presidents.
The outrage and confusion is understandable, but when you look at the messages of the rollout and album, as well as the specific religious beliefs of his spiritual guide, Eckhart Tolle, you start to see that he's been portraying himself as Christ from the very beginning, saying, I am in the Heart Part 5, saying,
I hope you see the God in me.
Wearing the crown of thorns on the album cover. Kendrick has really cleverly rode the line between actually portraying the savior character and feeding into his ego in his songs and the lyrics,
Smoking on your top 5 tonight.
which helps them fall more in line with traditional rap themes and have a place on the charts, and on the other hand showing the downfall of that mentality and preaching the message that we're all flawed. Finding truth and peace within yourself, your presence and existence, is the true path to salvation, as opposed to seeking out a savior when it's just a person who is just as flawed as you.
Suffering of Christ is my suffering. One could say Christ is the archetypal human. Christ is nailed to the cross. The cross is a symbol for the divine. The cross is a torture instrument also. When you bring the two together, a very important portal, and traditionally for most humans, into the transcendent dimension is suffering.
Kendrick confirmed in this performance that just like Tolle, he doesn't see Jesus as a god, but a prophet, meant to embody the suffering and imperfection that every person goes through.
I wear this as a representation so you'll never forget one of the greatest prophets that ever walked the earth. They judge you, they judge Christ. And this next record I want to perform is my favorite record off that album. The true meaning of imperfection.
You have to have empathy for the imperfection of both the saviors and the ones you considered lesser than you, and that starts by recognizing the imperfection in yourself and everyone you look up to. We're all a part of the shared human consciousness that Jesus embodies when he says, I am. Let's take a look at how he plays on these themes in the song Savior and his performance of it at Glastonbury. He takes himself and other influential figures off this pedestal in the opening lines.
Kendrick made you think about it, but he is not your savior. Cole made you feel empowered, but he is not your savior.
But then he goes into examples of how people will try to do something good, not to better the world, but to feel morally superior to others that don't do the same, like the blacked out Instagram post for Black Lives Matter.
Even blacked out screens and call it solidarity. Meditate in silence, make you wanna tell on me, bitch.
This is a personal one. He was called out by artists like No Name for not being more vocal about the movement. For him, it's an ongoing struggle because of his identity and the challenges he faces because of it, not just one defined by a single movement. People surrounding him on stage and the ones who were around him during his Fashion Week performances are the big steppers, those who feel like they can feel superior by putting others down and claiming they follow in the way of Kendrick, their leader. When they're on stage, all you can see is your savior. These followers boost his ego, make it difficult for him not to feel like a hero and a savior. They step in line with all his actions and philosophies, and they follow him around the world. When they clear out though, when he's alone with himself and his actions, the truth is revealed. The full message says, your savior I am not. Kendrick says,
Hey, show me you real, show me that you bleed. Hey.
When Jesus bleeds on the cross, according to Tolle and Kendrick's mystic view of Christianity, it shows that he's human and that in human form he's imperfect. And Kendrick uses the crown and his bleeding to the same effect in this performance. Think about how he started his career, a good kid in a mad city, a morally correct outlier in a fucked up surrounding, a standout in hip-hop because of the positive influence he's heralded for. In past performances for Damn, he'd been surrounded by red figures that echoed this dynamic. Surrounded by evil, he's the good trying to survive, fighting to make it to the top and spread his message. This is the album where he challenges that entire perception. Him and his steppers start out in the white, but the blood, the imperfection, stains him with red, reveals that he's not any better than the surroundings he once took moral high ground from. He's guilty of infidelity, of reveling in luxury when others are starving, and the solution to this is to tell the world he's not our savior. We can save ourselves by aligning our actions with what is good and having empathy for others to encourage them to do the same. So to wrap it all up, this outro that he yells emotionally at the end,
They judge you, they judge Christ, Godspeed for women's rights.
What does it really mean? On first listen, it sounds like he's boosting his ego, like you can't judge me, nothing I'm doing is wrong because they judged Christ too. What it really means under this philosophy is that because everyone's imperfect and under this collective consciousness, if you judge or hate another fellow human being, you're really just hating yourself. Energetically, you're aligning yourself with judgment and hate. You wouldn't judge Christ even though as a human he was imperfect like the rest of us. So why would you judge another person? Why not continue to work on yourself and put that energy towards positive improvement instead? Throughout this album, Kendrick slowly comes to the point of changing his focus from trying to fix and blame society to pointing out his own flaws and trying to fix himself, therapy session after therapy session. Only through that individual journey and empathy for the journey of others can society as a whole start to change. It's like when J. Cole said,
I know you desperate for a change, let the pen glide, but the only real change come from inside.
Whether you agree with Tolly and Kendrick's specific mystic interpretation of Christianity or not, it's a powerful performance with an even more powerful message, and it's sure to spark change in thousands worldwide, really opening people's eyes up to a new philosophy and worldview. But as always, that was just my interpretation, so let me know what I missed and what your thoughts on the performance were down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.